The weight of being someone else. You've never been real with me, she whispered, her voice carrying the weight of years unsaid. I watched as Kate's face contorted, a battlefield between rage and heartbreak. Her forehead creased into deep lines, while her mouth trembled downward, gravity pulling at her cheeks like they were made of melting wax. She sat there on the edge of breaking, holding back tears that threatened to spill over. I was myself, I offered weakly, just a version of myself. What the hell does that even mean? Her words cut through the sterile hospital air. A version. I stared past her at our wedding photo on the nightstand, two people smiling at a camera, playing their parts perfectly. Not the whole me, I guess, not who I actually am underneath it all. The silence stretched between us like a chasm. Then why did you marry me? The question hung there, raw and desperate. My head fell to one side as I considered the photograph again. Dr. Martinez had been blunt. 12 months, maybe less, given how aggressively the cancer had spread. That was 18 months ago. Every sunrise since felt borrowed, unearned. I'd been living on extended time, like a library book, past its due date. Somewhere around that 1-year mark, the person I used to be had quietly slipped away. What remained felt like an echo, a shadow that had learned to move independently of its source. I was simultaneously more alive and more dead than I'd ever been, existing in that strange liminal space between who I was and who I was becoming. I've never been myself with anyone, I finally said, turning back to meet her eyes. Not you. Not anyone. That's not your fault, it's mine. The medication fog, the endless hospital corridors, 3 weeks in hospice care, and the constant awareness that my story was ending, all of it had stripped away something I'd carried my entire life. The walls I'd built, the masks I'd worn, the careful choreography of being who others needed me to be. None of it seemed to matter anymore. For the first time in decades, I felt free. Not free from dying, but free from the exhausting performance of living up to everyone else's expectations. What are you trying to tell me, John? Kate's voice softened, sensing this conversation had shifted into deeper waters. I closed my eyes and let the truth surface. I spent my whole life being terrified that people wouldn't like me, so I became whoever they needed me to be. She leaned closer, her earlier anger dissolving into something gentler. Every decision, every word, every gesture, I calculated it all. Would Dad approve? Would Mom be proud? Would my friends think I was cool? Would my boss see me as valuable? Would you love me? I laughed bitterly. I twisted myself into so many shapes trying to be perfect for everyone, that I forgot what my original shape even looked like. John, that just means you cared about people. That's not a character flaw. Is it caring? I interrupted, my voice gaining strength despite my weakening body. Or is it the most selfish thing imaginable? I wasn't thinking about what was best for you or anyone else. I was thinking about how to make you see me the way I desperately needed to be seen. The room fell quiet, except for the steady beep of machines and the distant hum of city traffic below. The strangest part, I continued, staring at the ceiling tiles, is that I didn't even care about myself in the process. I abandoned who I actually was so completely that I became this weird paradox, simultaneously self-obsessed and self-neglecting. I was so focused on managing everyone's perception of me that I never bothered to discover who me actually was. Kate's eyes filled with tears that caught the afternoon light streaming through the window. You did the best you could with what you knew, she whispered. I watched people hurrying along the sidewalk below, briefcases and coffee cups, phone calls and deadlines. A whole world of people rushing to complete lists written by someone else, living lives prescribed by invisible authorities. I worked so hard to be seen as successful, happy, fun, intelligent, reliable, I said. I choreographed every moment to appear as the perfect husband, son, friend, employee. And now I'm dying, and I realize that nobody ever actually saw me at all. How could they? I never showed them who I really was. Kate wiped her face with the back of her hand, smearing tears across her cheek. Then show me now, she said, her voice fierce with determination. Stop hiding. Let me see you, the real you. We still have time, John. Use it. I looked at this woman, who had loved a carefully constructed version of me for 7 years, and for the first time, I felt ready to introduce her to the person I'd been hiding underneath all along. The person I was only just beginning to meet myself.